Hey everybody, what is up? This is Kirsten here. Thank you so much for being here today, listening to this new episode of the Balanced Vibes podcast. Whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it on your favorite podcast app, thank you either way. So today we're going to talk about what kind of questions your coach should ask you before giving you nutrition advice or before setting your macros, giving you exercise advice, and whatever it is that comes to your health and fitness. But I also thought I would start adding a little bit of life updates or what's going on in my life into the beginning of the podcast if this is interesting to you. So I'm going to try this out for a couple of episodes, see how you like it based on your feedback. I'm going to either keep it or not keep it. And let me know what you think. Do you want to hear what I'm up to? Do you just want me to go straight into business and tell you about the day's topic? This is fine too. But today I'm going to try it out and let me know if this is interesting to you, then I'm going to keep doing it or not. So what's been going on lately? So just a little health update. I decided to get serious about my dental health. And what it means is that I've been reading more and more about the negative side effects of getting root canals and how it can be really harmful for your health overall, how it is linked to more breast cancer, how it is linked to fatigue and all kinds of chronic inflammation and chronic diseases developing down the line. If you have a lot of, or even just one root canal, it can be pretty bad for you. So I've been doing quite a bit of research. And also, I started having a toothache. So I decided to go and check it out, what's going on there. And I went to this place and, they were nice and everything. But they said, we think you're going to need another root canal. And by then, I had already read stuff about it and made my decision that I'm actually going to get mine removed. I've been weighing pros and cons and reading different articles. And of course, there's quite a bit of controversy. I think the mainstream advice is still, do them, keep them. They're healthy. They are the way to save your tooth. But then, of course, there's also the opposite view that says that it actually can be really harmful for your health. And, you read the stories where people have been getting their root canals removed and they are doing a lot better. Sometimes chronic health issues go away and they just minimize the risk of, getting all kinds of different diseases. So I did my own research and finally decided that, I'm not going to get that new root canal. Also, it cost me thousands and thousands of dollars for potentially something that can be harmful for me later in my life. What I decided to do instead is to get rid of more root canals. And you know what? I don't know about you, but I have not been keeping track of like all the things that have been done when it comes to, my oral health. Like, have I had how many root canals, or I probably know how many wisdom teeth I have removed. I think it's 4, maybe 3, but I don't know every single detail. I don't remember. I have been to a dentist a lot and I don't have like the best teeth. I do have issues with them. So it's been hard to keep track. And also, honestly, several years I I wasn't very aware of many things that, the modern healthcare, Western healthcare requires us to do and the dangers of these things. So in the past couple of years, I have definitely become a lot more aware and made different decisions. And if I could take back some time or go back in time, I would not make the same decisions anymore that I did, when I was, I don't know, 20s or whatever. A lot of the health things that I wouldn't do anymore that I did back then. So either way, I decided that I'm actually going to get my root canals removed. And when I got an x-ray, then it came out that I have 5 of them. I have 5 freaking root canals in my mouth. And I don't have any chronic health issues, but I have some things going on. I mean, everybody has something they're working on continuously, I think. So I'm not an exception. And I don't know if these things are caused necessarily by root canals, but I know that root canals are associated with some of the things. So long story short, I decided I'm going to get mine removed and I started to look for a place where I can do it. And I am in Arizona and it was difficult to find anybody in Arizona. So I found somebody in Utah and I even talked to this person, but honestly, the cost was absolutely nuts to get 5 of them removed. And I continued to look around. I also even thought about going to Estonia. So this is where I am from. And in the past, I actually used to teach a lot of dentists. So I was a language teacher in my past life. I would teach Estonian dentists Finnish because this is where a lot of people went to work. They went to work in Finland because they were paid better. So I was a teacher. I would teach them Finnish. And I still have some of these contacts. So I contacted some people there, my previous students, and asked, hey, does anybody do this procedure in Estonia? And they're like, what is this? Why would you remove a root canal? This doesn't make sense. I haven't heard about it, and so on and so on. And so I talked to them. I sent them a couple of people's, Instagram accounts to look at. One of them, by the way, and I'm probably not pronouncing this correctly, is Dr. Blodgett. I will put that in the show notes too if you want to look up what he's up to. But I shared this information. They said, oh, interesting, but we don't know anybody who does this procedure here specifically. Well, I continued to look around and also talk to my sister. So my sister, just like me, actually worse than me, has had plenty of issues with her teeth. And she got her root canal, I don't know how many times. It never, quote unquote, worked out. She never got results, right? And she told me that, eventually my doctor was like, screw this. We cannot keep doing this to you. Let's just take the freaking tooth out. And they took it out, took the root canal out. And I asked my sister, have you noticed any difference now? And she said, well, you know what? Now that you mention it, I haven't had any neck or throat pain since then. So we are thinking that it has some kind of connection there, some kind of thing that was associated potentially with this root canal. And she says she hasn't had it yet. So I'm not saying that this is what you should be doing. This is what I chose to do. And where did I then choose to do it? I actually went all the way to Mexico to get it done. So I live in Arizona. The place where I went to is in Mexico, about 6 hours from us, 6-hour drive. And I decided I'm going to get it done there. I found a good doctor, really great, really, really great people there. And this is what I did last weekend. So drove down on Thursday, got my procedure done on Friday, and now I'm recovering. It is now Tuesday, and it's going all right. I mean, it was a pretty rough thing, right? So it comes out, I need to get a lot of my teeth, my back teeth removed, and I already got 3 of them removed, and this was all they could do in one day. It was a long procedure. I can tell you all the details if you're interested in a little bit when I have done my second procedure where they're going to take out some more. And then finally, they're going to replace some of these teeth, all of these teeth with a specific material that will then serve as, basically the same thing as my teeth. But this will not be done until at least 4 months from now. So I got my surgery done. It was pretty rough. It was a lot of work. The teeth, one of them did not want to come out, and it was hard. And now I am unfortunately on antibiotics, which is definitely what I do not prefer at all. But for something like this, I will take them. So I don't like the idea of popping antibiotics as easily as some people do. A lot of people do. Again, not judging, but for me, this is a no-no because it has can have a massive negative health on your negative effect on your overall health. So again, here, I'm not giving you any medical advice. I'm not telling you what to do, or this is bad, or that is bad. I am telling you what I chose to do based on talking to people, based on reading, based on looking at, different resources. And this is what I decided to do. So I had my one surgery done, and I will have my other surgery done about a month from now, a little bit less, 3 weeks from now. And then I'm going to give my mouth a little rest from all the surgeries and procedures and give it time to heal for about 4 months. And this is when I get my replacement. So this is where I am right now. And I'm telling you that antibiotics are messing with me a little bit. It hasn't been too bad, but I definitely am noticing, a little bit of stomach issues and a little bit of more exhaustion than typically. But then again, I got a lot of anesthesia. I got a lot of painkillers. I'm taking antibiotics. So I'm taking good care of my health as much as I can. And after this, I'm actually going to go out and get some sun because I believe in the healing power of nature the most, right? So I'm going to go get some sun, get a little walk in. I'm not working out at all. So I'm not supposed to work out for 6 days after this surgery. And I'm fine with that. Honestly, being a person who sometimes struggles to take a break, this is kind of like a forced break. And, this is what I do. This is what I'm going to honor, and definitely don't want to mess anything up and make anything worse. So here I am right now, long story short, but this is what's been up in my life. And like I said, I'm going to do more of these live updates if this is interesting to you. It's not always going to be about health. Sometimes I'm going to tell you about other things. Maybe we're traveling somewhere that is not medical tourism, which is something else. Or maybe I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my Spanish learning adventure. Who knows, right? So, okay, let's move on to today's topic, which is what are all the questions that your coach is supposed to ask you before giving you any nutritional advice, before setting your macros, before telling you what you should do for exercise. And the reason why this is important is that I see a lot of people doing random stuff, right? So we pick a random diet. I don't want to call any specific ones out, but we all know that they are there that are pretty much the same for everybody. Here's your set of macros. Do this. Cut carbs. Don't have any carbs. This is how much fat you should be having. These are the only food protein sources that you should be having. Can't have this, can't have that. Like there are very like straight plans like that that are supposedly work for everybody. But this stuff doesn't work. Like not everybody is the same. You are unique. You need different things. And when a person who prescribes you a plan or gives you macros without asking you any questions, you can go totally wrong. Or if you take a random website and calculate your macros and just jump right into it without asking yourself these questions and without even knowing what the answers mean, then you could be going totally wrong direction. And this is important to know because we want to go in the right direction. And if your coach asks you a lot of questions and you're like, oh my God, stop it already, give me the freaking plan, then you got to understand that this is for you. This is for your benefit, right? So I'm going to next tell you a couple of questions that I always ask. So I actually have a long list of questions in a questionnaire. If somebody's interested in working with me, they're going to have to fill this out. And I'm going to tell you just a handful of those questions that I have in there and why I'm asking this question. Okay, so here we go. One of the questions is, have you dieted in the past 2 years? And if so, then what did this diet look like? Why is this important? Because if you have been dieting in the past 2 years multiple times, there's a very good chance that your metabolism is downregulated, you have been yo-yoing, and it's just not in a place that is good for a calorie cut. So something that I talk about a lot on this podcast, this up and down, eating, overeating, undereating, or continuously undereating puts a massive strain on your metabolism, and you're just going to be weaker. You're not going to be in a position to cut. But now, if nobody asks it and gives you the plan that puts you right into the cut, guess what happens to your body? Your metabolism is going to get in the worst condition, right? It's going to downregulate even more. And you're going to have some symptoms probably if it's a deep cut, if you haven't given your body some time to build up and heal. And also, you're probably not going to get the results that you want to get. You're going to stall pretty quickly. If not, like the first 2 weeks, you may get results then. But let's say after a couple of months, 6 weeks or so, you are going to stop and you're going to hit a wall and very likely not get out of it. So it is important that I know that, okay, I haven't done any massive diets in the past 2 years, and I see that your calories are in a good place. Okay, we can cut. But if you have been doing diets on and off or been in a low calorie place last 2 years, then there's no other way than doing a build up phase first. And I talk about it all the time, all of the time. Most of my clients start at build up, they're just not ready. All right, then my next question is, how much did your weight change as a result of that diet? And did you maintain it or did you gain it back? Also very important for me to know, right? Did you swing like minus 20 pounds, plus 20 pounds? This is really important for me to know. Or you're like, yeah, I tried this keto thing for a little while. I tried it for a week or two. My weight didn't change. Then I didn't do the keto anymore. Okay, cool. Probably not such a big of a deal. It didn't cause much damage. But if it's like a huge up and down fluctuation and gaining back more than what you had before, this is what I need to know because, again, we need to build up then. Then I always ask to see at least 5 days of your food logs, right? And based on your food logs, for example, I can see, hey, it looks like your calories are kind of low. Has it been like this for a while or is this a new thing? So what happens a lot of times when I'm asking somebody to send me their food log or track for 5 days, they get like really good, quote unquote, like, right? They're like, okay, the coach said I'm going to have to track for 5 days. So I'm going to not have the cookies that I typically have. I'm not going to have the wine that I typically have. I'm not going to have the ice cream that I typically have. And I will eat all my meals at home, even though usually I eat out 5 days a week, right? So we're going to clean up, right? And then this is where I'm like, oh, okay, the food log looks kind of low, right? Is she actually eating 1,400 calories all the time? So if this is the case, they just changed it for the duration of 5-day tracking period, then this gives me wrong information, right? I want to know if this has been the case all the time. Because if I see that, you've been eating this way and you tell me, no, this has been the case for like 2 years, you actually have been eating 1,400 calories all the time, then again, we need to build up. But if you previously ate out 5 days a week, ate a lot of chocolate, ate a lot of candy, drank all the wine, and then you just got good, right, for the 5 days, then we can still go into a cut because you kind of modified to look a little bit better, but this is not the actual picture of your actual eating. So this is very important for me to know if I see that on food logs that somebody's calories are actually really, really low. And I want to make sure that I know what to do next, because based on this, I decide what to do next. Are we going to build up? Are we going to go into a cut? Then I always ask, do you have any health issues, whether they are diagnosed or not? So for example, you have period problems. Do you even get them? Are they really irregular? Do you have PCOS diagnosed? Do you have a lot of hair loss? Do you have chronic pain? Do you have adrenal fatigue? So without knowing these things, again, we can go totally wrong. So if there's somebody who has adrenal fatigue or the symptoms of it, always tired but wired, not able to get up in the morning, super tired in the evening, feeling depleted, low energy, periods are very irregular, or they are not even happening, or they are anovulatory, right? Your cycles are anovulatory, which means that you don't ovulate. Then honestly, this period is not a healthy period that you're getting. This is not a healthy cycle. So I want to know what's going on, because it is very important for me that your overall health is good, because that means that your metabolic health is good too. So if you have these issues, right, you're losing your hair and all this stuff that I mentioned, not a good time to go into cut. So we have to rebalance your hormones. We have to boost your metabolic rate. We have to do the build-up phase first. But nobody asks these questions, just telling you, hey, here's the plan. Go ahead, start with 1,500 calories, and you're already really screwed, right? Your body is suffering. Your body's clearly not or not functioning at 100% or even 80%, right? It's maybe barely around 50. Not a good place to do a cut. So this is important for me to know as well. The next question I always ask is, do you ever work out fasted? Because this, for most people, is going to be a problem in the long run. So I want to know that if you're doing that, we want to make sure that you don't start your day with high intensity workout and then a coffee, right? This is not good. We're going to change that. I also ask, do you drink coffee and alcohol? So if you do, how frequent this is, because both of these things will have effect on your health too. Some people are very, very sensitive to caffeine and just cannot have it without having bad side effects. I specifically right now have one client who's like, I feel so much better without coffee. And I'm not telling you that's you. There's a lot of people who tolerate coffee with no issues at all. But in her case, she feels the difference is night and day. And just lately she was traveling, she had different time zones and overseas flights and all that. And she got back into her coffee habit. And she's telling me that I feel really bad. I feel awful. I have to get off caffeine again. So this is important for me to know. And especially if you have any symptoms of like adrenal fatigue, exhaustion, and you just try to get through your day with coffee, and then you like to sip on wine in the evenings, then this is something that we have to work on, and possibly bring some adrenal cocktails in and start having a little healthier drink for you. All right. I always also ask, how many steps do you get per day? Why is this important? So this is your NEAT activity, right? And this helps me to estimate what is your energy expenditure like. So your workouts actually are not big calorie burners at all, unless you do, you know that I'm not a fan of like burning calories through running. That shouldn't be like your main form of fitness, and that shouldn't be how you keep yourself at a low body weight or whatever, low body fat percentage. But I do want to know how many steps you get per day, because that tells me how much movement you are getting and helps me to estimate your energy expenditure. And why is this important? Well, if I know what your energy expenditure is like, then I know what your targets should be like, right? Because it is different for somebody who takes 20,000 steps a day and for somebody who barely gets 3,000. So it's really important. I also asked do you do any HIIT training, cardio? Do you lift weights? Do you do all of them? Do you do none of them? Again, this gives me an idea of their metabolic rate. If somebody is lifting heavy weights and doing this 3-4 days a week, they are probably their metabolic rate is probably higher than somebody who is doing lots of cardio training, lots of HIIT training. So I want to know that as well. Then I also ask a little bit different questions that are not necessarily related to calories or macros or training at all. So I ask, how's your relationship with food, right? This is important for me to know, because maybe you are binge eating, maybe you are emotional eating, then we have to work on these things. I also ask, how is your mood generally, right? Are you positive? Are you happy? Or do you feel like life sucks all the time and everything's a struggle? because then you may need some different help, and maybe this is not necessarily me who can help me, or we can work together with a therapist or somebody, because your mental health, I don't know when we start to realizing that this is just as important as your physical health. It just really is, and we have to keep that in check as well. And also, how is your self-talk? This is where I see a lot of interesting answers when I ask this question in my questionnaire. I loved one time when this one woman told me that, oh, how did she say it? She said something like, I adore myself. It was really beautiful. And this was not fake. I know this woman personally, and I know that she has worked through a lot of crap, right? Not an easy life. And she has worked through a lot of crap, and she has truly found like the true woman that she is. And she just feels really kind of like balanced, and I don't even know how to say it, but you can tell that this was real. This was true. She has a good relationship with herself, and I just wish more people could see themselves this way. This was just wonderful. But a lot of times, what I see as a response to this question is like, it sucks. I don't like my self-talk, or like I'm pretty negative. A lot of people tell me that I'm really hard on myself. And this is also something that we have to look at, and this is a frequent conversation that I have with a lot of my clients. If you're really, really hard on yourself, there's also a good chance that you are trying to do everything super perfectly, and we know that perfectionism gets on the way of good enough, right? And when you're trying to be perfect and you're not getting results, you're getting pissed, you're getting angry, you're talking crap about yourself in your mind. This is not going to help you with your physique results either, because eventually you're going to take some bad action that's not going to be helping you. So there's, of course, more questions that I ask. And these are just some examples. But why? Well, I ask them because I want to get a clear picture of what to do next. And I already sort of mentioned that. So there's basically, when somebody comes to me with their weight loss goal, then we have two options, right? Either we can go right into a cut, which is the case if you are healthy, you have been eating at least your maintenance, and your overall health is good, and you're feeling fine and balanced and don't have any major health issues that we should discuss and that we should rebalance before. So this is the first option. And I wish more people were like that. That would be so wonderful. But unfortunately, this is not the case. So the other case is that we have to build up your metabolism first, heal your hormones before we can start a cut. So this is the case if you've been under eating for a while, your calories are low, you have history of frequent dieting, your periods might be a mess, your fatigue, hair loss, have low energy, and you maybe even gain weight despite eating almost nothing. So now you can think really, how many questions does a random cookie cutter, one size fits all diet ask you? Zero, right? None of these. So it's more like, here's your plan, go eat your 1,500 calories, do HIIT, don't eat carbs, and it's the same freaking plan, quote unquote plan for everybody. And that's why they mess you up. That's why a lot of people, because they have done this cycle for so many times, that's why they cannot go into a cut anymore, because the body has become unresponsive. And it's unresponsive because the hormones are a freaking mess, right? Your body's not balanced. You're not ready for going into a cut because of these stupid diet plans. So I'm telling you all the time, stop freaking dieting. Don't do random shit. So I'm just, you have to work through your issues first. You have to work through your health problems first before you can have a solid and healthy metabolism that is not damaged by all of these diets. And I am actually really excited when I once in a while get a client who is like, yeah, I've been eating well, and I see from the food logs that, yeah, they are getting, 2,000, 2,500 calories, and it's mostly real and healthy food. And they're telling me that their health is great, no major issues going on. I just want to lose some body fat, put on some muscle. I'm like, yes, let's do it. I'm excited. I'm really excited. Let's do it. You're going to get results, and you're going to start seeing them quickly. But this is unfortunately not the case. A lot of times, most people are unfortunately over dieted and need this phase before building up their body. And this can take time, you guys. And I know people are getting very impatient because this is not a quick solution at all. Even during that build up phase, your weight may stay exactly the same. It may go up a little bit, and you're like, oh, this is not what I wanted. I wanted to lose weight. But you got to realize that this needs to be done if you have a history of dieting, and if your health hasn't been good because your hormones have been a mess, again, as a result of lots of dieting. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I want to let you know that my Facebook group, Fit and Fueled, is still around. It's great. We have good conversations there. And I want you to join us. join us. I'm doing a live video there every single Monday, and this live video is not posted anywhere else. You can ask all your questions. You can even post your workout squat videos, deadlift videos for form check. I can help you with that too. So this is really a place where I share information and tools and tips that are not shared anywhere else. So go check out the link in my Instagram. Go check out the link in the show notes and also in my YouTube description. Join the group. You don't want to miss it. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening. I'm going to get my dose of sun now, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.